And yeah, it goes back to that human factor. We have to remember we're human. And I think one of the things I always stress, me personally, is that we look at life as imperfect versus if we approach life and have a mindset that life is imperfect versus that it's perfect and trying to make it perfect, it's a lot easier for us to deal with stuff.
Much easier.
So,
accept your flaws.
You just spoke to me with that one right there.
Oh yeah, man.
You just spoke to me with
Jared,
that.
I have to tell clients all the time, man. Accept your flaws, man. But whatever they may be, accept them, please. Because if you,
we be spinning our wheels.
oh man, all
I think
day.
that's another thing that you guys correct me if I'm wrong. You have to live up to this persona.
Yes.
There's a couple of them.
Oh, definitely.
Some of them that are great. Some of them are not
Definitely.
so great. See, I had this topic I want to talk about.
Nope.
They would not let me.
I just said that.
I just want to say.
I'm just not well versed in it. So.
But we
Yeah.
were going to highlight this issue. So I'm going to highlight the issue, but in a different way. So the question. I just think it's very important.
Can you make
to
sure that
talk
I'm still
about
recording real quick?
it. So the question is,
Okay.
so we talked about this vulnerability piece and things like that, and how can we empower Black men? What does it mean to empower Black men? And kind of like we've been bringing in the mental health piece, and so I think that there are some key points of wisdom you guys have to. I think that you guys can share about how they can empower themselves. We talked about the safe places. We talked about the vulnerability piece. What are some other things you think that could be real helpful? Because I think another point is, I never forget the day, Justin, we were talking about Black men, and
One of the many days.
and he goes, "Why are you so hard on the Black men?"
I did ask her that. I did. Because Bianca's hard on him.
But I had a reason. What was my reason?
Oh, what was your reason? But then I feel like it was something along the lines of like you recognize the potential and what they should be, which I agree with.
I
agree
do.
with.
I recognize it, and I do give them a bit more of a harder time.
What I didn't agree with Bianca was her route of doing that to push us to that point.
So we had this discussion, but I'm for Black men every 100%.
Oh yeah, she is.
I'm so for you guys 100%.
She's just a person. I love her though.
I am. So I could just see all this potential, and I don't stand for any BS. So I'm gonna like, come on guys, let's get it. You got it. Let's keep moving. So he asked me, but he made a really good point for me that the fact that you guys are coming from a point of survival, especially when you're going to compare it to the white men, where they have all this stuff set up in the white privilege, but Black men, and when I refer to Black men, this is worldwide. You guys can tell I'm from London, so shout out to all my London peeps. And all the other Black men worldwide, Latino, wherever you're from. So just Black men, just want to state that it's not just African American, it's Black men all over the world. And so you guys are coming from a place of survival mode. And so your baseline, you said, correct me if I'm wrong, is survival.
Absolutely.
And so sometimes you might not even be thinking about this empowerment piece because you're trying to survive, correct? So how do we move from that, and how do we get to this empowerment? What does it look like? What are some key points?
Just to hit on that survival real quick. When certain other cultures greet each other, hey, how you doing? I'm doing fine. A, B, C, and D. Brothers greet each other. How you doing? Man, I'm making it. I'm alright today.
That's so funny. I say that. I'll be like,
all of us say
trying to maintain.
Yeah, I'm just trying to maintain. I'm making
it.
Yeah, it's ingrained in us that we just trying to survive at this point.
Yeah. Yeah.
Succeed. Oh, we want to get to success, but at this point, we want to make sure we make it to the next check, make it another day. You know what I mean? It's every single thing with us is just, can I make it to the next, whatever that end game is, whatever that point is. Oh, absolutely. And ask the question again, Bianca. I'm sorry, dear.
So that's fine. So with that survival piece and all that, so what is it? What do you guys need to do? What are some keys? Because this is the title, the keys to empowerment for Black men. So how do we empower Black men? What are some keys coming from your perspective? as therapists, because we talked about the vulnerability piece, but I think there was some other stuff that we've mentioned in the talks and discussions that black men need to be aware of, need to do. We know vulnerability is huge.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there?
Jared, you handle therapy, I handle social. Just kind of hit both sides of it.
You the LPC, man. You the LPC.
We sitting here on this same level. The reason I deferred to Jared on that is socially, I believe that, of course, my job is therapy. I believe that sometimes, brothers, we need therapy. We need a professional to help us. That comes with the territory. But on a social aspect, we can't see our therapist every day. Though some of us may need it, we can't see him every day. So my question I would ask is, what's your circle look like? And are you all having a conversation about your successes, your failures, those inner workings that are going on with you, with your friends? If you're not, I would ask you, why not? For me, on a personal level, I have a group of friends, a group of guys that I've known since, at this point, I think high school, elementary for some, and some have come, some have gone, some have left and come back. But one thing that we always do is we discuss our successes, not necessarily in a bragging way, but it's like a congratulatory way. I think one of the ways in which we can really empower each other is to celebrate success within the black community. Mm-hmm. Between black men, celebrate success and let it not be a competition between them.
Yep.
Or if it is a competition, let it be a motivating competition, but not one to demean anybody.
Yep.
I think that's big for us. Men are wired a little bit differently than women. As far as being in tune with emotions, some of us are, some of us aren't. It just kind of works out that way. Different degrees of vulnerability. We talked about that. But one thing that sticks out, I believe, to any man, your family, your job, your finances, things along those lines. And whenever any one of those things are going good, I believe men need to talk about it. And if you feel like you're around people that you can't talk about that with, I believe that person doesn't need to be as close as they were before. So in a social aspect, men, pick a circle, honestly, that uplifts you. Not worships you, not gives you false praise, none of that fake stuff. I mean, that genuinely uplifts you, but also holds you accountable as well. Pick a circle that will, if you are slacking on something, they're comfortable enough to tell you you're slacking on it, and you're comfortable enough with them to not get an attitude about it. To not get so defensive about it, but actually open up and take it as, this brother's coming from a place of love, or this brother's coming from a place of support. Maybe I can do it. Maybe what they're saying holds some truth.
Yeah.
So on the social aspect, get that circle tight, gentlemen, please.
And if we're going to talk about on the therapist aspect, I think some keys to empowerment is going to therapy. If you ask
Right.
me, I think everybody should go to therapy. Every single last person that's on this earth should go to therapy. And I say that to my friends. My friends are like, why do you think I need to go to therapy? What you think is wrong with me? I'm like, I don't think anything is wrong with you. But I think you're going to go through some things that you need to process, right? You're going to go through some things that you need to process. You're going to experience some things that you need to process, right? So some ways to empower black men is, like I said, going to therapy, processing through some of the things that you've been through, process through some of the things that you're going to go through. Bring a friend to therapy, or tell a friend to go to therapy. Yep. Process through some of that family trauma. You know what I'm saying? So again, that's what I think. I think therapy is a key piece. And
Jared being polite, he thinks, I'm sorry, I know. I need to go to therapy. I have, over the years, let's put it this way. A lot of people are going to be happy when I finally pass. Because I'm taking a lot to the grave. Got a lot of friends. Well, let me not say friends. I got a lot of people I know over the years, and people I don't really know, but I know stuff about, who have opened up to me.
Yeah, I need y'all to go to therapy. My friends tell me, I'm not your therapist.
Yeah, I'm not your therapist.
I love you.
But and I'll help. But it's not my job to be like, family, friend, associate in the grocery store line. Your therapist. Legitimately go and sit down and talk with a professional. Mm-hmm. That helps. It doesn't mean anything's wrong with you. It just means it's an outlet to get certain things out.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's a different
Right.
perspective, a different way of seeing it. Sometimes we're so used to seeing things a certain way or interpreting in certain ways. We just need someone with a different eye. You are not crazy. I
You're
have
not
a
crazy at
therapist
all.
and I need one, and I don't really care what anyone says.
You need that objective, unbiased view, or
Right.
point of view. That's pretty much what it is.
Right. It's not the homeboy. It's not mom. It's not dad. You need someone who doesn't know the inner workings of you to help you with whatever situation you may be going through.
Yep.
Amen to that. It's okay. It's all right. I can't say that enough. It's okay to talk to somebody.
Absolutely.
It's okay to go to therapy, brothers. Please
Absolutely.
go.
Absolutely.
And what happens how are things affected when you guys don't? What areas of your life are affected when you don't talk? You hold things in?
All areas.
Like what?
You're good.
Work, financial, marriage, family, relation, all areas. For
It
me,
hits everything. Yep.
everything hits everything. Everything is affected. Everything is affected when I get to that point.
I'll say it, Bianca. That's fine. I'll say it.
I'm not allowed to.
Oh, you trying
I
to
was
get to that?
trying-
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I'll do it. Whatever.
Listen,
I
I
do
was
it,
just-
Bianca. That's
I was
fine.
just trying to-
She's been trying to get to this one subject, and obviously we've been.
We're not allowed to talk about it.
We can
I'm
talk
shut
about it.
down.
I'm just not well versed in it, so you're not.
No, we agreed to mention this fact.
Yeah, I told her I'd mention it. I'd mention it.
Sexual dysfunction.
When it is when things are not okay in our lives, and man, I'll take it on, whatever. When things are not okay in our lives, certain things happen to us. I know, dude. The eggshells, they're rough. No, you know what? Screw it. I'm
No,
just gonna do
because
it.
we're therapists and these things
Right.
happen, right? Guys come in and this happens, and
Right.
we're not saying it happens all the time, but it
Right.
can affect your sexual function if
Your-
you are not dealing with certain
Your
things.
sexual function, your expression. Yes, brothers, I'm saying you probably may not be able to get it up if you're having issues in every other aspect of your life.
And
It's
you're
the
not
truth of the
And you're
matter.
not talking about it.
Yeah, it's the truth of the matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, if we don't talk about it, yeah, my Instagram paused, but it'll pick back up at some point, I guess. If you don't talk about it, you're gonna have that issue every time. You're gonna have problems are gonna start to pop up, and you're gonna wonder, why is this happening? Why is this happening? It could be in, out the bedroom. It could be wherever. You're gonna have issues pop up if you're having problems at your job, problems socially. If you have so much pent up anger, you think you're gonna be fine in other areas of life? You're not. You're not.
And there's sex therapists out there that can help with that
That's
as
true.
well. And it's not embarrassing to go to a sex therapist if you're having problems in that area
That's
due
true.
to having problems in all the other areas surrounding you,
Right.
or having problems in other aspects of your life. It's okay to go to a sex therapist and be able to get that stuff out so that you can get it up.
See, this is why I didn't even want to talk about it. Because
What?
they said that I was saying it's all black men, and it's not. My point is, I just want to put it out there because there's these people suffering in silence and isolating and not talking about it.
Mhm.
And there's another issue we haven't touched on, which is so important, is the increase in suicide amongst young black males, right? Because guys are isolating and you're not talking.
Right.
There's this pressure, this socialization. That's one thing we have not talked about, which I think is so key. Is it's just crazy the amount of young black males who are committing suicide.
Oh, significant. It's a significant amount.
Numbers is rising.
Yeah.
Pause 1 second. I'm looking at my Instagram live, and I guess mine is going to stop in about a minute. For anyone that's on my Instagram, please go to the Facebook link that has been posted for the remainder of it. I will try to get it back up and going once it stops, but we're also going to keep on rolling. So,
Yeah, 'cause
love
we
you guys.
also want to
Hope
get
to
some.
see you hope to see you on Facebook. But
Yeah. We also want to get some questions. So.
oh, we definitely are going to get some questions. You said, Bianca, go ahead again.
We're talking about male suicide.
Right.
The increase in
Right.
young black males committing suicide.
Because
We don't deal with the issues.
Yeah, we don't deal with the issues, and we're hurt.
We don't deal with.
We're hurt as men. We're hurt.
Yep.
We don't know how to deal with the hurt.
Yeah.
We don't know how to deal with the hurt. We don't know how to deal with the pain. And if we try to step out into the shallow end, but we step out with the wrong person or not to a professional, and it's not received in a way that helps us, then that isolation gets worse.
Yeah.
And we feel worse about it.
Yep. Yeah. We don't in our community, we don't deal with mental health. And if you look at our last live stream that I did with Bianca, when I talked about my mental health, you know, it's this thing of like, you know, in the black community, go to church, pray it away, and that's I'm not saying that doesn't work, but there's other things that you can do as well. You know, faith without works is dead. You know, so if you're not putting in the work yourself as well, then nothing is going to come out of that.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So, you know, we have to be diligent. We have to be able to address and to deal with. And my battery's about to die. To deal with mental health in our community. Right. And we have to be diligent with this.
We have to.
Yeah, and there was something you said about the praying it, faith without works. He said
faith without works.
Yep. And that's so key.
I'm trying to get my Instagram up.
And so that's the other part as well, is that there are things that we need to do as well as praying, because I am a believer, but there are other things in regards to dealing with this issue and we need to talk. We need to create as a community, I think, also the safe place for people to talk. We do that by dealing with our own issues first, going through that experience, and then we can also share that with others in helping that, because we need to talk. There are people struggling and suffering and isolating and all those kind of things as well. So was there anything? So we want to go to the questions. I kind of need my laptop.
You need your laptop?
Go get it.
It's about behind
Oh,
you.
okay. I'm still here.
So we're going to take some questions now, because I know everyone's got a ton of questions, and I saw, thank you, a ton of questions coming through. So I don't know if you guys can see any questions.
We're back. At least on Instagram.
I don't know if you guys can see any questions yourself there at the moment.
Yeah, Jared's is sideways. Most of my people went to Facebook, so.
I can't see any of the questions, but what I'm going to do is once the live video is done on my Facebook, I'm going to go back and read all the comments and questions and respond to everybody.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good point. Good job. Good point on that. For any one of my followers that's reading, or anyone that I don't know, hi. Also, any questions, comments, concerns, anything that we don't answer or we didn't answer here, we didn't touch on, you can send any one of us the question. Just send it to. You can comment it to us. You can text us if you know us personally. Just send it to us. I have a suspicion this won't be a one-time thing. I have a strong suspicion this won't be a one-time thing. So any questions that we don't touch on here, we'll touch on in the next time we do it, or we'll also respond on the next video or in the comments.
One of the big things talking about highlighting here is about the accountability. What is accountability? What is that looking like?
I think it's just another word for responsibility.
Yeah, and being it's hard to say the definition without using the actual word in it, but being accountable for things that you do, being responsible for the things that you do, owning up to the things that you do, ownership. There you go. Accountability is
owning
ownership.
Up to it.
Ownership. There you go. See, you see how we process that? We process that together. We came up with a word that can define accountability.
Ownership. Just own.
Okay, so one question: what are some of the specific ways we can create safe places for our Black men?
Live streams, support groups, mentorship. Things like that. I think the support groups is really big, where you can have like discussions. I know on college campuses there's like groups of men so I was a part of Brothers Making a Difference at Ramapo College in New Jersey, and we used to have group discussions every week. We would have events where where the brothers on campus could come and talk about different things and things like that. We would have like specific topics and things like that. Fraternities can also provide these spaces as well, such as Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated.
Or Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Don't do that.
You know, there's many different ways that you can create these safe spaces, but I think the support groups.
She said go slow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She's taking notes.
Oh, she's
but
taking
we're
notes?
doing a playback, so you can also watch this back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, mentorship, support groups, and what was the other thing I said? I forget. But yeah, mentorship and support groups and live streams. That's what I said.
On a personal, I guess on a more intimate note, you can create a safe place at home by, even if you disagree with something that a black man is doing, respecting it is a big point of contention for a lot of men. You ask a lot of black men, they'll tell you they do feel like they don't get respect. It may be in their homes, it may be in their community as a whole, because you ask black men if we think the world respects us, I believe that'll be 100% no, with the exception of OJ. So whatever. So for the most part,
add in a joke, you know.
It's not a joke. Because you get those men that feel like the world actually does respect us, and we look at them like, really? The world. So we already feel as if the world itself doesn't respect us. So I can't speak about that one enough. And respect is not like submission, because I know that word brings up a lot of ill feelings in a lot of people. Not you, Bianca. Submission, respect is not submission. It's just, regardless of whether you agree or disagree with the person, respect their viewpoint. I think that will create a very safe place as long as the person feels like they're respected to talk, that their viewpoint is respected, whether they agree or disagree. They'll be fine. They'll be more willing to bring things to you as long as you actually respect where they're coming from. Mm-hmm.
The submission piece, you know, I like the submission.
Mm-hmm. Respect doesn't mean submission.
Submission is the submitting to the mission, right? And so and submission is both sides.
Correct.
So and when I say the mission is whatever this relationship. So
correct.
i.e., we're all here to give you guys this male empowerment. So there's maybe a time when I'm quiet, they're quiet, whoever's quiet, because for us, the mission is to get it out there. It's not about us. It's not about what we have to say. So we're going to sit back. We might not agree, but we're still going to sit here because our focus is on what is the overall mission. When you're submitting in any relationship, you're focused on the relationship. I'm doing this for the greater good for the relationship. It's not just about me. So I think that's what comes into that submission part. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'd agree with that.
Okay. Yeah. All right. As a black man, what would you all say is the safest approach for being vulnerable without being angry at the same time?
That's a good question.
It's a really good question.
Recognize what you're angry about. If there was anything I had to say to that question, recognize what you're angry about and be able to. And the good thing about this is, men, we actually can do this. We're pretty good at this, actually. Recognize what you're angry about. For example, if you're mad at something that happened at work, that has nothing to do with your spouse or your significant other. Mm-hmm. So when you open up about that, you know, you can be angry. Trust me, anger is an okay feeling to have, but do your best to not be angry at the person that you're being vulnerable with. So that may even take the form of, you know, it may even take the form of when you're starting the conversation, give a disclaimer. give a disclaimer of, you know, hey, this isn't about you, or I'm not angry at you. Yeah. You know, I'm upset. For example, I mean, just in making lighthearted of it, you know, anyone ever got that text from your significant other or boss or something, because bosses text now, that it says, that message that says, we need to talk.
I hate that.
See? And it's just, you're immediately thinking, man, what the hell did I do? Or whatever it may be. But, and I know for my wife, when she sends that, first thing I say, hey, is it me? I need to know that. As soon as she says it's not me, then I'm open to whatever it is she has. I should be open in anyway, but I'm more open and I'm not as defensive or I'm not as on my heels if I know it's not about me. So if you have those powerful emotions, but they're not directed at the person you're being vulnerable with, tell that person that, it's not you. It's not you. But I'm angry at something. That way they never think that it's coming at them.
Yeah.
And I would agree with that, because anger is again a natural emotion. So what's the safest way to being vulnerable without being angry? I would say just be, but let them know this is I'm angry, but it's not at you, it's at this situation, and then just be. You get what I'm saying? Because there's nothing wrong with being angry. It's really just about how we express it.
Right.
And so if we express it in a healthy way and let that be known, hey, I'm not angry at you, I'm angry at the situation, then I think that is the safest way to be vulnerable. But it's okay to be vulnerable and angry at the same time. That's mainly what I'm getting at, because that anger piece is important, because you don't want to suppress that. Again, because when we suppress everything, it's bad for our mental health. It's bad for us, period. So we don't want to suppress that. So.
And I always want to make the distinction between the feeling and the behavior, because people be like, and I get this because of people's upbringing. When someone was angry, it meant fights, it meant abuse, whatever the case may be. So you have that definition. So there is a difference between I'm angry. I could be sitting here really angry right now, and you guys have no idea because I'm sitting here, I'm smiling. But it's only if I did something or I threw something, you might be like, okay, she's angry. So now that's the second part. That's my behavior. Now that's my choice. That's me choosing to do something with that anger that might not be healthy. So it doesn't have to be that the anger means that I'm going to kick off or I'm going to punch someone or I'm going to get in a fight. And so I always want to encourage people to always make that distinction. I don't make a distinction between negative and positive emotions. They're your emotions. They make you more uncomfortable. But it's the behavior that people are attuning to the emotion. No, they're two separate things. So in answer to this question, yes, I think you guys are right. But just know whoever's, who asks the question, that just because I am angry and I want to speak in about it, that doesn't mean I have to get rid of my anger. Right? Because if you're still suppressing it. So you still want to be like, look, I'm really mad, I'm not in a good mood, but I just need to get this off this chest. It has nothing to do with you. But we don't want to suppress that anger, because that's just going to come out in other ways.
Bianca, you bring up a good point. Brothers, there's negative emotions don't exist. There's no such thing as a negative emotion. Your emotion is whatever you're feeling at the time, and it's perfectly acceptable and fine. It's yours. Negative behaviors exist. And when I say negative, I mean behaviors that are counterproductive to whatever point it is that you're trying to get across. That's what I define as a negative behavior. Your emotion is never negative. Don't let anyone... So another key to empowerment, your emotion matters. That sounds so cliche, but it's... Your emotion matters. How you feel is entirely acceptable for how you feel.
Okay. Thank you. Another question. Can you just go in, we were talking about that respect. Can you respect and disagree at the same time?
Absolutely.
It's tough, but it's possible.
I respectfully disagree.
That's a perfect way to do it. I respectfully disagree.
We do it all the time, especially with Justin. If you ever hang out with Justin, be like, nah, Justin.
My friends know.
I'm listening to him, but I'm not agreeing with you.
My friends are open to respectfully disagree with me all the time, and I'll do the same to them. It's perfectly fine. That's also, guys, that's a great way to dictate who's healthy and who should be in that circle or not anyway. People that you can respectfully disagree with and it not turn into an argument or, a measuring contest, those are the ones you want in your circle, because those are the ones you can be comfortable with and open with. But if every time you all disagree and it turns into an argument to see who can be right, it's not healthy.
Okay. So I've just seen if I'm checking your okay.
Looking at more questions?
When it comes to manhood, how do you separate the social media? Social media is in capitals.
Who questioned that?
Yeah. How do you separate the social media? Okay, so let me a second. When it comes to manhood, how do you separate the social media pressure that takes the place of peer pressure for black men to act and appear a certain way in public and in the eyes of people who don't know them?
Oh,
that was a really good question.
That's a great question.
Thank you, G Trills. Appreciate that.
That's a good one.
Got me processing real hard tonight.
To me, while Jared's processing, to me, social media, unfortunately, it's a part of our life. You can't really just remove yourself entirely off of it like that. It even impacts people that aren't on social media. I think the way to do that is to have a balance. And when I say balance, I mean have a circle, have a group outside of social media that can challenge some of those, let's say, stigmas that we see in everyone's status as we scroll through our Facebook or our Instagram feed. Have something to counteract all the things that are telling you to be a certain way on Instagram or on Facebook. So if you have enough support outside of social media, I think that will help a lot as far as you retaining some sense of self-esteem if you're not matching up to what statuses or whatever it may be, media and social media may be telling you what to do.
Yeah. I think I have to piggyback. I agree. It is finding that balance and understanding because I know for me, social media is not reality. So
Thank you.
It's not the reality. It's not the reality for me. So it's really finding that balance between reality and social media. Right. And so social media, I see a lot of things on social media that it says how men should be. I seen a question today that said men should pay the whole rent and not half. I'm like, okay, that's not reality. That's not my reality. I can't. Oh, my phone just died. That's not my reality. So I can't succumb to that. You know what I'm saying? I can't succumb to that pressure. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't fit me. So how do you separate by finding that balance between reality and social media and what fits you and what doesn't?
Mm-hmm. Man, you remember the $200 date thing? Remember when that was big for a while?
No, I didn't see that. What was that?
Oh man, it was the whole thing on social media for a minute about this amount has to be spent. Oh, brother, I was pissed. Oh, I was angry.
I don't pay that stuff no more.
Talking about when I say the comments underneath it, if he can't drop that, you know, you don't need to be out with me. I would hold on, my mom might be watching, right? Okay, yeah, just to give an example of.
I see some crazy stuff on social
media. Crazy stuff,
in terms
man.
Of
what you guys are meant to live up to and stuff.
Yeah,
well, just in terms, not even just with men, but for women too. Like just like these gender roles that are so made up. Like again, I seen one today that said a man should pay half the rent. He should pay the whole rent, and I'm like. That doesn't even make any sense.
None.
That doesn't even make any sense. You know what I'm saying?
How's that a partnership? How's that any sort of partnership?
Yeah. Listen.
So, so thanks, guys. So that was pretty much some of the questions that we had. A lot of people were kind of agreeing just with the accountability factor. The vulnerability was a huge piece. Also validating feelings. Oh, and let's also say that the one other thing was about the vulnerability being weakness. That's actually not true. To be vulnerable, it takes a lot to open up and share something about you that you don't know if someone is going to shut down. So that's, to me, is actually more courageous. That's a moment of bravery. That's a moment of strength versus a moment of weakness. Because there's not a lot of people. It's not easy because you don't know how someone's going to respond.
I'm glad you see it that way. And here's an example, guys. I respectfully disagree with you. I think that the equating vulnerability with weakness is definitely not true for women. But definitely tends to be more true for men.
What do you mean?
Meaning if a woman is vulnerable, a lot of times I see that being portrayed as she's open, she's in touch with her emotions.
Right.
If a man is vulnerable, I'm more likely to see that he's emotional or they try to use some sort of negative term compared to the brave term is when I say that.
Yeah, that's society.
Right.
I'm talking about the fact of the matter is...
Right, I'd agree with you on that.
Anyone to be vulnerable. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm saying the fact of the matter is, this is why we have healthy discussions.
Oh, yeah, we do it all the time, guys. All the time.
The fact of the matter is, male or female, you have to be, there's an element of bravery and courage and strength to be vulnerable. It's not weakness. If I sit here and I share to you that I'm hurting versus I'm angry, if I sit here and I say I'm experiencing shame or I'm experiencing guilt, then that's huge. Oh my God, how can I forget about that word, shame? Oh my gosh, we did not. Because shame is huge.
Shame is big in our community.
Shame is huge.
Unhealthy guilt.
Ooh,
yeah. And so to define, guilt is what I did was bad and I made a mistake. Shame is I am bad. I did that thing and now I am bad. And so shame is a big thing that keeps people from being vulnerable, keeps people, I think also men, there's a huge amount of shame, would you guys say? Or
black men deal with a lot of shame just placed upon them from jump. Society places a ton of shame upon a black man just from jump. It comes from the way society is nowadays. And how men deal with that shame will dictate whether or not, will dictate a lot of things in their life. Let's just say it that way. Shame is huge. And when that gets internalized, we start to feel guilty for things we didn't even do. So.
What do you mean by internalized?
When we hear how we're supposed to be or we're not matching certain expectations, again, that social media component and maybe in our family or whatever, when it starts to get internal so much, then we start to feel guilty about things that don't even apply to us.
Can you do me a favor? I just need you to break down internalization.
Oh, okay. When I say internalization, I'm talking about, I'll use the example, when you're raising a child, if you call a child a knucklehead, so to speak, for the whole first 16 years of his life, when he hits 17, guess what he probably thinks he is? Probably thinks he's a knucklehead, and his behavior will match that. It's the same way with the shame and guilt. If this is a big key to empowerment. If society consistently tells men it makes us feel like we don't matter, makes you feel like you don't matter, makes you feel like you're a second-class citizen, makes you feel less than, then when you become an adult, you're gonna feel less than. You've internalized it. And then anything you do that furthers that, you feel guilty about. And it may be nothing you did wrong at all, but it was just placed upon you. And breaking away from that is one of the things that we as men have got to do. We just have to.
Okay. Anything else to add on that shame piece? Okay. All right. So what's some final last words for this time? Because, if you guys feel like there's anything more that you want them to discuss or talk about or need to talk some more about, please let us know. You can send me a message via Facebook or email
send any of us a message. My final words are black men are hurting. We're hurting more than we want to be honest and open up about, and that's fine. I wouldn't ask anyone in the comments to open up or anything, but I'll do it. Black men are hurting for a number of different reasons, and many of us don't know how to express that hurt. So the way in which we do it, sometimes it's healthy, sometimes it's not. But if it's one thing I want to give people as a takeaway is that we're hurting and we're just looking for a way to decrease the hurt and find a safe place. That's all of us are looking for. We're looking for some sort of reprieve to the pain that we're feeling, be it societal pain, family pain, job pain, anytime. We're just trying to reduce the pain that we're dealing with. And this is not to make an excuse for, like we said, negative behaviors. This is just to shed some light into what's going on with the men in society, especially the black men. This is just to shed light on what's going on with the black men, and as something we've talked about throughout the whole stream, is ways in which we can start to combat that.
From the final word, black men, we need to support each other. We need to empower each other. We need to celebrate our successes and pick each other up when we have failures and downfalls. That's mainly what we need to do because our mental health depends on it.
It depends on it. And if our mental health falls apart, black men, we gonna fall apart.
Yeah.
That's just how that goes.
And I just want to say, I'm just looking at some of the comments. There's some women, black women on here, and just talking about And I know for me, I got a lot of black women wanting to support the black men, there to support the black men. So if you was, yeah, and they know how. So if you're saying that you're meeting someone and they're not, there are women out there that want to embrace black men, want to empower, want to support. You're just gonna have to look out for them, and it might not be who you thought it would, who you thought they were, or where you thought they might be. So I just want to let you know it is possible. These guys do it. They do it with me.
They out there.
They do it even more with their wives. So it's not just a fact of, okay, this is just not happening. There's no one out there to support them. There are women out there who are waiting and ready. I know plenty of them out there. So it is possible. And I just also think there's other black men out there as well who are wanting to create these circles and wanting to make a difference. You're just going to have to take a step, and you're going to have to maybe search for it. But just knowing that they are there, they're there. Also, the black male therapists are also there.
There's some of us out there, y'all.
They're out there.
We here. They a lot, but we here.
We here.
And wherever you are, if you can't find some, hey, you know, my email is biancahughes.counseling at gmail.com or biancahughes.com. You can always reach me. Or I can put you in touch with these guys, even if you're not in America or wherever you are. We can find something. We have a therapy network, and so we can find someone or try and help you find someone or connect you with someone wherever you are in the world. I know me. I will find. I'm resourceful, so I'm going to find a way. So just to help you if you feel more comfortable, or maybe you prefer a black male therapist or just a good therapist in general. I just know that.
We got you.
I know that the black community is more comfortable seeing someone sometimes that looks like them, and I understand that. So I just want you guys to know that is out there. So thank you so much for everybody who is watching. If you didn't, but maybe people are watching later on, please share. And if you have any other questions or anything else you want us to talk about, I did have one woman say that, talking about do a segment on single mothers raising a black son.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
It needs to be talked about.
I was raised by a single mother.
It needs to be talked about.
Yeah, so I'm sure that we're going to get a lot more. So thank you so much, and thank you for your time, and have a wonderful evening, guys.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in.
All right.